It's almost like they're trying to upend Indian culture, right? Indian culture is a patriarchy. They're trying to upend it, turn it on its head, but they went right past matriarchy into a cuckyarchy. Here, it's gotten pretty rough lately. First, Myron posts this where he goes, "I'm never wrong about these women. Stupid ass Jeet. Akaash Singh tried to lecture me about women years. Stupid ass Jeet tried to lecture me about women years ago with his equally restarted co-host Schultz, aka Myron, just with the hyperbolic. He talks like a groiper, right? He doesn't even talk like Nick Fuentes. Yeah, Nick Fuentes will drop N-bombs with hard R's, but there's a real art to how Nick talks. There's a real articulation. There's a beauty to his language and to his speech. And Myron is just, let me take the lowest common denominator word and use it to get the sting, the shock value. And it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. I enjoy it because that's my sense of humor. You know, I have a 14-year-old sense of humor, kind of, where just the shock value of things, that'll get me. That's kind of enough. I'm immature that way. But I think he turns a lot of people away from his audience by, you know, with that language, as much as he also gets people in. And I don't think that the people that he gets in are people who probably share his ideology to begin with. I don't think he convinces anybody of much because of how polarizing he chooses to speak, which is, you know, how he is. But anyway, he basically pulls up this podcast with Akaash and his wife Jazz, and then Akaash responds. And he goes, "My man out here getting triggered by jokes." And we'll look at those podcast clips in a second, but let's see Akaash's response because this is the best trajectory to do things. Akaash goes, "My man out here getting triggered by jokes. How ironic. Well, don't worry about me, Myron. I got no issue putting a bitch in her place. For example." Good roast joke. You see Akaash's chops as a stand-up comedian over here. "I got no issue putting a bitch in her place." And then he throws up this clip where from the Flagrant podcast
my preference is
that we were talking about, where Myron feels that they kind of blindsided him with these attacks. So let's just see the attacks.
Not my women. Now, I thought it was I'm not dating my women, period, which is the corniest human being outside of a criminal to me, period. Those are your roots. Those women are reflected in your roots. So if you're saying, hey, I don't generally date them, but I have more space for it, even though I still think it's a little corny.
Akaash only dates brown. Akaash has been with one girl in his life who is his wife.
That's my wife. That's an
so
Indian woman.
This is like loyal through and through.
Okay. And I understand it's not as important for y'all, but as an Indian, there's not a lot of us who are famous. So whether you like it or not, people are looking at you as a role model. You guys have established yourselves as role models. From simps to pimps, which is another motto I find kind of corny, but I looked into what you guys are about. And a lot of this shit is just childish, which is fine if you want to be funny. We just talk about how doctors ain't shit for 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. We are not in any way life coaching. We are not in any way trying to help men outside of, hey, come have a laugh for a couple hours. Right. If you're going to paint yourself as life coaches and then say shit like, my preference is, which is honestly bullshit. It is, I don't want to date black girls. That's the way every black dude that fucks white girls says it. I've dated black girls in my life. All right, bro. Who the fuck hasn't except me? You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna dabble in everything. It is the mentality that I have an issue with, and Alex is upset with the specific words, true, but underneath it, he's upset with the mentality. And a lot of stuff you guys say in general, I think is stuff that's kind of childish. I saw a clip where you were like, "Oh, the nuclear family's falling apart. What do you do? I don't get married. Just don't get married." You actually trying to help men, or you talking to fucking incels who are 18 years old? That's some shit you say to college. I'm gonna turn you from a simp to a pimp. All right, bro. Can we grow up? You guys are self-help. You are, hey, we're trying to help men. So either we're funny, or help men and be real and be honest with yourselves and don't have an ego like, no, I have a preference. Be honest. Let's just be mature about what we feel. And part of that maturity is, yeah, it was a bad joke. I don't actually feel exactly that way.
Myron is uncharacteristically quiet. And I think we find out later it's because he didn't want to step on his podcast partner, all the networking that I guess he'd done. I guess Fresh maybe set this interview up from what I understood, and he didn't want to step on that and burn a bridge. So he just uncharacteristically did not speak his mind here. Maybe he was cowed by the moment. Who knows? Who knows why? But Akaash is going really hard in the paint. He's saying that he's calling them out for basically saying that they wouldn't date black women and just the way they talk about black women. And he says that all of that, I guess it's fine if it's said in jest, but they're not saying it entirely in jest because they're billing themselves as life coaches. To an extent, he's right? They do build themselves as life coaches. They do kind of speak in this hyperbole where it's kind of hard to, it's extreme. And I said this before, I think it kind of takes away from their points because they do have good points. I do think that Myron has a ton of good points. I actually think that there's value to the way he looks at the world. There's value in what he does for men, but because he's so intentionally polarizing and he feeds into it all the time, he's kind of maybe a victim of the feedback loop. Like, you get positive feedback for the most extreme things you say, and then you just kind of loop back into that with your audience, right? Now, Akaash is kind of going, like, he's being a little black and white about this. He's being a little too black and white about this, because he's going, you either have to be a comedian or you have to be a life coach, and it's one or the other. You have to be one or you have to be the other. It's as if you're saying, if you're a life coach, you can't be funny or hyperbolic. Where maybe what he means is that if you're a life coach, you should probably be a little bit clearer about when you're being funny and hyperbolic versus when you're speaking the truth. And with a lot of these guys, Myron, Gavin McInnes, Nick Fuentes, until very recently, you couldn't really tell. Fuentes has been doing some good faith interviews lately where he's been saying what his real views are, and a lot of the groypers are really mad at him about that. Because turns out, what do you know? He's actually kind of a reasonable guy. Who would have thought? I mean, I think it was fairly obvious. If you're like a reasonable person yourself with a reasonable brain, you go, okay, these things that he's saying are hyperbolic, and like, this is the meat of what his point is. It seems obvious to me. Similar with Myron, I feel like I get where he's coming from on a lot of things. But again, when he goes into the language gets extreme, I can see why some people don't get it, why some people turn off. And maybe that's the point Akaash is making. And he very much does not like the fact that they're like, yeah, we don't date black women, because he himself is married to an Indian woman, waited till 30. I think he lost his virginity. I don't know if it was 31 or even a little bit older, but that's a long ass time to wait. It's an interesting decision. He goes like, I want to be a role model. I'm like, I don't think you want everyone to be virgins till they're 31, man. He's like, I need to be a good role model. I don't think that's a good role model necessarily. I don't think that's necessarily something that you need to put out there for men to be. People are already running around with full ball sacks. That's what creates incels. That's what creates school shooters, is just ball sacks. Just ball sacks that are full, where the jizz is coming out of all the other orifices. I don't know that that's a good way to be. I don't think necessarily even worked out for him. But one of the things that I think Myron pulled up was this heckler handling clip of Akaash. This is actually one of the first times I ever saw Akaash, was this video. And Myron pulled it up as saying like, hey, you're such an ally to black women. Look at this clip.
Oh, she's still not laughing. Everybody else is laughing. You're sitting there being shitty. They don't agree. You're obviously wrong. That's all you laugh. I'm glad you guys disagree. Normally, white people feel this guilt and they just have to agree with the black person. I'm glad you guys don't care. And it was you. Honestly, it was your cosign. I appreciate you. Your cosign. Let them know. She don't know shit. Bougie. About Indians? You said, I don't care. Yeah, feel free. Go outside. Talk about Slumdog. I don't give a fuck. How sensitive do you think I am? Ugh, no one cares. We don't have time to be all serious in this world. I'm gonna die soon. I'm Hindu, so I get another life. You don't. Let's put together. Right, Morocco? What's up? Oh, they love me. They hate you. They love me. Everybody on my side. Nobody on my side. Everybody here. Feel love.
So,
God, how does anybody have fun around you? You can tell me when I'm going to I'm not your man. You can't tell me to go to the next door. I'm gonna listen. Right? You don't have nothing. That's right. I don't have nothing. You're the reason black men date white women. That's
okay. So, unbelievable heckler handling clip. One of the first times I ever saw him. That's honestly legendary. I believe I've heard him talk about how Chappelle saw that clip, and that's how Chappelle got to know him. I mean, this is great. This is amazing. I mean, he's a great stand-up for this. He's a prolific stand-up. And this is why the Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith comparison kind of rings true in some senses, because you kind of feel like him and Myron, just based on this, the way he's talking in this, and yeah, he's joking around, but you kind of feel like him and Myron, they've got common ground here. Like, it's the same way that when Myron's talking like this, it's like, there's got to be a degree to which he's not being entirely serious. In the same way, when he's talking like that, there's got to be a degree to which he's not being entirely joking. Like, white people do feel white guilt, and then they always want to side with the black person in the room, and they're terrified. And this is a thing in comedy rooms. They're terrified to laugh at a joke that concerns race, any race, but especially black people. That's just how comedy rooms function. He calls out the fact that he got a cosign from another black person. The dynamics in that room, the cosign was really important for him to be able to crush the heckler. And then he makes that joke where he's like, you're the reason that black men date white women. So he's literally making the exact same point that Myron's making when he talks about why he doesn't date black women. Except Myron's making it, he's going full like, I'm serious that this is why. And for the most part, he is pretty serious about that. I just feel like the way he puts it out there, it's intentionally incendiary. Like, I don't feel like he'd just be talking like that to his mom or his sister. Or maybe he would, I don't know. But yeah, Akaash talks like that too. Anybody who's living in reality cracks jokes like this. There's nothing that's special or that crazy about it. So then, after pointing that out, we're getting to the meat of the story here. This clip surfaces, and in it, it's not a very flattering representation of Akaash and his wife's relationship.
What I find corny is my preference is not my women. Now, I thought it was I'm not dating my women, period, which is the corniest human being outside of a criminal to me, period.
Akaash only dates brown. Akaash has been with one girl in his life who's his wife.
That's my wife. That's an
so
Indian
this is like loyal through and through.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses.
I'm actively trying to have an orgy and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband. I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches. Okay, I have 2 butthole stories. So one time I met this guy on Tinder and I made the dumb mistake of letting him sleep over, like not really wanting to fucking hook up. And I like woke up in the morning and like my asshole was a little sore. Oh my God. And I remember that he like, what kind of porn do you watch when you use a vibrator?
Okay, not gonna lie, I don't watch porn while using a vibrator. What? I just think my imagination is vibration enough.
Wow.
I just think of like my own husband while I'm like doing it.
Wait, that's kind of baller, but I could never do that.
Yeah. And so I was using you and your husband split finances. And I'm gonna be really fucking honest.
I don't.
We don't.
First of all, that's a fucking red flag. I'm not like, no joke. I love you girls. If you want to work all for that, whatever. But like any man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his accounts or has separate accounts, that's a fucking red flag. This is not a 2-way street. This is a 1-way street. His money is our money and my money is my money. And look, have I only made $600 from content creating?
Why? Why not sure.
But that's my money. Okay.
I don't know if you watch The Boys, but I love him on The Boys.
I never watched that show, but like he's on my hall pass list.
Oh yeah.
Chase Crawford, Jacob Elordi, Austin Butler, and who else?
Do you know why I think I have like a good marriage? I think it's because my husband's never here.
This is why people are like, you know, it's kind of like a Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith, because you have Akaash here, prolific comedian, cracks jokes like, you know, this is why black men date white women, cracks jokes like that. But now he's spouting a totally different tune and he's chastising men for how they speak, right? He's kind of sitting with like liberal professor stance and chastising men about, you know, how they speak. Man, we don't like police each other's speech like that. It's just very vaginal and feminine to sit there like this and go, I just think that's like, you know, like the way he's going about it. It just feels like maybe these were her words, especially after watching that video. It feels like maybe these were her words. And that's kind of how it felt when Will Smith slapped. Remember when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock? There were all these videos coming out of how Will Smith was laughing at the joke first, and then he got a cut a look from Jada, and then now he has to go and make a performance out of slapping Chris Rock for cracking a joke. Men, we don't really get mad about other people's speech like that. It's not part of our culture. It's not part of masculine culture to go around and be like, I didn't like that you said that or how you said that. That's what he's saying, because it's more like he's saying, his point kind of to Myron is to be like, I don't like how you said that. Which is, he's like, it's not that you said that because I say the same thing. It's about how you said it. It really feels like, you know, that's like the puppet, right? Like she's like, it's her hand up his butt. That's kind of how it feels. It's a bummer, again, because he's a very talented comedian. But, you know, if there's one thing that we've learned, that success and celebrity does not, you know, there's not everything in life. This is like sort of the issue with dating Indian women for me. They're beautiful, right? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of them, so it's a broad spectrum. But Indian women are beautiful. Like, the beautiful Indian women are truly, truly gorgeous. That's undeniable. Jazz is a smoke show. Akaash's wife, smoke show. The thing with Indian women is that every Indian woman is born into Indian culture. And then the way they are is a response to Indian culture. It has to be, right? And that usually results in them being either psychotically dominant / domineering or ridiculously subservient and slavish. And it's hard to find, in my experience, it's hard to find an Indian woman in the middle. And I, by the way, I'm not coming at Indian women when I say this. I think it's perfectly reasonable to go to those polar extremes. The reason being that Indian culture is so ridiculously sexist. And I don't use that term lightly. I'm extremely critical of first world feminism. I think that, you know, there are some good points, but most of the time tends towards whiny first world feminism. So even for me to use the word sexist, it makes me cringe a little. But the fact is that Indian society, and again, not all Indian society, right? People love to come at you when you're speaking in generalizations for the sake of ease of conversation. People love to go, not all. Okay, no, I get not all. But if you're going to speak about Indian culture as a whole and you're going to have characteristics that you want to bring up, sexism's a massive one. Okay? I've seen it in my own life through the people that I'm connected to. And it is ridiculously, cartoonishly, horrifically sexist. And as a result, Indian women tend to either sort of put that down. They tend to either respond really vociferously towards it and be like, fuck that. And they go to the other extreme where they are too man-hating or extremely kind of really domineering, which again I get. Or they go to the other extreme where they're like really like just like Dobby the house elf. Neither appeals to me to date. Okay, that's just me. That's just my opinion. Not prescribing anything for anyone. That's just how I experience the world. So he's married to Jazz, and there's this clip that's going around. And now it's just clip central, right? All these clips are resurfacing about their relationship, and it's coming under a microscope. And you gotta empathize with that. That's not fun. But it also, like, this stuff, they knew they were like this. It's just alarming for society to go, hey, oh my God, here's this very successful guy and his wife. As with Will Smith, as with Khalil, as with every time society or red pill, whoever you wanna say does this, every time they surface a Jezebel, there's this sticker shock where everyone's like, oh my God. And they're probably fine with their dynamic. They've existed like this, but it is jarring to see. And so yeah, there's this clip where Akaash supposedly believes that his wife was, because he waited to lose his virginity to her, and apparently he believed that she had done the same.
My wife also hadn't had any sexual partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you believe her?
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. Yeah. I remember I was just like, what? But she was like, she was 22, I was 31. There was an age gap.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So I was popping my pussy.
Popping my pussy is disgusting. Stop saying popping my pussy. What even is popping your pussy? Is it like when the dick comes out, like does it make a sound? Is that dude? Hard dicks coming out. Why would you want that visualization out there? And this is the thing, dude. White women kind of do this to their husbands too, where they take a special, not all white women, some white women take a special joy in embarrassing and humiliating their husband. Because we'll see this in a clip in a second. She gets pretty wild with the sexual talk around Akaash. Right, where she gets pretty wild about how far she'll go. We're gonna pull up the two lazy clips, but basically, he pulls up some clips where Jazz is just kind of insulting Akaash and being spoiled, and we'll take a look at that.
Yesterday, I worked the entire, like, morning to night, whatever. I get a workout in because I'm trying to be less fat, and then she's like, babe, can you take out Happy? I'm so tired. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then I take you to Mew Mew and you buy whatever you want. That's the bare...
Excuse me. No, I didn't buy whatever I wanted. He limited me. I am on a budget, okay?
Because you want a house that I don't care about. A house.
In the Hamptons? Is this the Hamptons? One
Yes.
or the other?
The Hamptons.
And this girl's so out of control. She has hardcore feminists feeling bad for Akaash. Like in one of her most popular TikToks, she's yelling at him because she doesn't have enough room in her closet for all of her clothes and handbags. And the top comments are like, I'm sorry for that man, and I'm almost never sorry for a man. And girl, please don't make me side with a man. Girl, don't make me agree with him, please.
Do you know what my fucking husband just tried to do to me?
Yeah.
We're leaving. Shut up. We also just redid our closet.
This is all her closet now. She took the whole closet.
I don't have space for. Can you show?
Yeah.
I don't have space.
Oh my God.
I'm not doing that.
Space exists.
I'm not doing that. We were supposed to build a wardrobe, but Akaash didn't want to do it
for
because
me,
he's too
because
cheap.
I took the smaller closet.
Do you know how much
fucking space he has? Look, utilize the shelves, you idiot. Akaash, for real, I like my clothes spread out. Then, no, but like, no. I don't want them all on the same rack.
She just sounds kind of spoiled here. The rich people, the entire conversation sounds lofty. Is that the house in the Hamptons, or it's disconnected to listen to them? It almost feels like, and they didn't start out this way, neither of them, I don't think. They speak like aristocrats. That in and of itself is pretty disconcerting. It's pretty jarring. But over and above that, there is like just the way she kind of deals with him. You know, she wants the soft life. She's like one of these New York girlies who wants the soft life, but like doesn't want to be the soft wife. She wants to be aggressive towards her husband. Shut up, you idiot. And here's the thing, right? I have friends who both the guy and the girl are just always like talking to each other like that. Shut up, idiot. Whatever. Shut up, dumb fuck. And it kind of varies from person to person what the dynamic is. And if you see that it's mutual, you kind of just let it go. You're like, whatever, that's how they talk. But what people are clocking here is the disconnect between how he speaks to her and how he talks about her, where he's always like praising her and standing up for her and going out of his way to push her opinions, even sort of letting them swallow his own, right? And far from extending him that same courtesy, she's kind of mean to him, okay? And I don't know them. I don't know that that's how they are in their day-to-day. Maybe they get along. Maybe they're fine with this. When you see it from the outside, it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. And I empathize with her because she clearly had an Indian upbringing. I saw in one of her TikToks her talking about her dad wasn't great. I'm sure that's part of what formed this man-hatingness. But this ain't the guy who did that to you. This is the guy who's like taking care of you, you know, providing for things. And this isn't just her, right? This is kind of every New York, and we'll put this in LA as well. Coastal women, sort of liberal women, think that it is just charming to repudiate the patriarchy by just being like tastelessly man-hating. A lot of these coastal feminists think it's like super liberated or good to be really, really man-hating, really misandrist. And hey, I get it. Look, I'm misogynist. Like, it's part of my makeup. I make misogynist jokes. I think that sexism's funny to me too as a man. Sexism against women is funny, so I can understand sexism against men being funny to women and me not getting that. But the difference, I think, is that I think that my misogyny ultimately is a bad thing, and I'm trying to work on it and get better about it. Whereas I think your average coastal feminist feels that their misandry, it's a repudiation of power and ultimately a really good thing for society. It's got the same intensity as the way, like, the revenge porn way that sort of people of color, liberal black people will shit on white people. And they'll just kind of be like, well, because just for the sins of your people, you have to take it. You have to take it. And you don't. You don't. You should only answer for the sins of yourself. I get it. Your dad wasn't great. Indian culture is super sexist. That sucks. That genuinely sucks. But it's on you to deal with that, especially when it's like, it's not a mutual dynamic, man. It doesn't seem to be. And if it were, these clips wouldn't be so stark. We're going to get to the worst one right now. This one blew my mind. So this is them on a podcast with Jas, Akaash, and their friend. It's like Jas's best friend and her husband who's friends with Akaash. So it's like two couples, right? And the entire clip, Jas is just talking about fucking the best friend's friend. It's really weird. It's a really bizarre dynamic.
Myron from Fresh and Fit, all the ammo in the world to go after Akaash.
And can I say this is the best husband I've ever seen? And I'm not even saying that hyperbolically. It's a little annoying. And then, like, he's just getting in better shape.
Jerk each other off. All right.
We might have. Oh, what are y'all doing this whole time? Drake is your Taylor Swift.
100%.
Exactly.
I'm toxic. How do you think I have to keep up with her?
No, he be saying some boss ass shit. What is the stuff he says to you that I'm just like, that's fire?
Oh, Nav just puts his dick out on the table.
There's a difference being a scammer and being a hustler. Two very different things.
Okay.
I'm a hustler who scams a little bit. I'm not a scammer who
I'm not
hustles.
gonna lie, that was sexy, and that's why I'm actively trying to have an orgy.
Wait, he used to sell like iPhones, buy iPhones and sell them.
Have you seen his Instagram thumbnail? You know, I've shown that to multiple dudes.
He has it saved under his favorite.
Look at my wife's podcast partner's husband. It's crazy. Ain't that crazy? I've shown it to multiple guys.
I've also shown it to multiple people. I'm meeting Nav's dad tomorrow, and I will say I'm fucking nervous because
Don't
he
be
has
nervous.
the... Not to be weird, but he has big dick energy, and he's obviously
based off stories.
Yeah, he's a don. Let's face it.
But thank you guys for being on the main character pod. We love you. We hate you.
I guess
we respect you.
love you, but I actually love you and want to fuck all of you.
Yeah, so hopefully
Dude, that's just absolutely bizarre, right? Like, that's uncomfortable.
Akaash can get
You
Let
and
me see how
Stories.
Yeah, he's a don. Let's face it.
But thank you guys for being on the main character pod. We love you. We hate you.
I guess
we respect you.
love you, but I actually love you and want to fuck all of you.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's, oh God, look at him. Yeah, that's
Actually love you and want to fuck all of you.
That's just so uncomfortable, man. That's just so uncomfortable due to your husband and your best friend. And they have to like die laughing, like, ha 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 ha. This is the most aristocrat thing. I mean, maybe they really have transferred. The wealth transference has taken full effect. They're just full eyes wide shut now. They're full rich people. Just, and you know, obviously fidelity's for the poor. We know that, right? The joke of how rich people are. They just wriggle around and writhe with each other like snakes. They're not actually in couples. They're all just weird swingers. It's bizarre. It's weird. I don't think that's what's going on. I don't think they're actually swingers. I think she thinks that this is funny to just humiliate her husband like this by talking about his friend and her best friend's husband's big dick and how much she wants to fuck him. It's very extreme, man. It's almost like they're trying to upend Indian culture, right? Indian culture is a patriarchy. They're trying to upend it, turn it on its head, but they went right past matriarchy into a fucking cuckyarchy. That's what this is. You just fucking sit your man down there, make eyes at his friend, talk about fucking him, while also constantly talking about fantasizing about your exes and how you can't watch porn. Dude, when you put all the pieces together, it does not look great. And Nav's not that hot. I don't see it, dude. I mean, he's not a bad looking guy, but he's a pundi, just like Akaash, dude. A couple of pundis. Look, they're not that different. They're not that different. Okay, not gonna sit here and tell me it's worth humiliating your man for this guy. But yeah, you know, as I said, cucks exist. You know, it's not ideal, but if this is their dynamic and it makes them happy, whatever. I think what's going on here is that to an extent, she's kind of like a New York hot girl. All New York hot girls have like main character syndrome. They think they're the star of the show. She does this thing with Akaash where she just constantly just hitting on the dudes. Even like, look, Channing Tatum started following her husband. Cool thing. And then she goes, I'm only 1 degree of separation from my preteen fantasies. And it's like playing, this song. So presumably her in an orgasmic state. Right. So basically she took the thing that was his accomplishment and made it about her. In her mind, she's the star of the show. She's the funny one. That's why she's saying the extreme jokes about banging his friend. I don't think she's actually going to bang the friend because although maybe she does, maybe she has those thoughts in her head. But that's what you do when you make that joke. Everybody know that those thoughts are there in your head. And you try to normalize those thoughts by making it a joke. You don't have to do that. You don't have to be the main character to the extent that everything he has to go blah, from here into out there. It doesn't have to be that way. But New York hot girls have this main character syndrome. Even though her husband is this prolific comedian, she's like, nah, I'm pretty fucking funny too. This is the thing I've noticed with New York hot chicks is that they don't live in reality when they're trying to be funny. When they're trying to be funny, they forget that they're very attractive women. They forget their relationships to other people. And then they try to riff with men the way we riff with each other, which is there's a brutality to how we talk to each other. We're pretty goddamn brutal to each other. And that functions. If you're a man, there's a function behind that because when you're that brutal to each other, there's a love and a brotherhood to it. That's kind of male culture. But they see that and they want to be a part of it. So the way they join it is to just say things like, yeah, I'll fuck him, huh? How about that? I'll fuck him. And it's just like, that's what do you mean you fuck him? That's your best friend. That's your best friend's husband. That's your husband's friend. What are you talking about? You'll fuck him. What are you talking about, orgy? You're gonna have an Indian orgy? Imagine the smell. Sorry, I had to. No, those are all hot Indians. They all probably smell really good. Yeah, no, it wouldn't be like an orgy with me. Hell no. My orgy would smell like straight turmeric. But yeah, this is not good, guys. This is I don't think it's ideal. But at the same time, let's finally, to close this out, let's take a look at her response because it's probably a pretty important person to hear from. Let's see what she said.
Okay, guys, I want to talk to you really quick because obviously my name keeps getting brought up by either women or men. Lately, it's these red pill guys because I said my money, or what did I say? His money is, and my money is my money, which is a common saying, whatever. I'm not even elaborating.
That was not even, his money is my money and my money is my money is like one of the smallest things that people have an issue with. Most of it is why are you humiliating your man all the time? And the his money is my money and my money is my money is not a terrible thing. If that's what works for you guys, that's what works for you guys. I don't think anybody has that big of an issue with it. Maybe some people, but I don't think anybody has that big of an issue with that part of it.
I don't fucking care to explain myself to them. But what I will say is, if you're not going to be a man for fucking women, like if you're going to say, oh, women should do this for us and we're the prize and blah, 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 at least be a man for yourselves. And what I mean by that is, so I just watched Don't Worry, Darling, finally on Netflix. It's like that movie from 2 or 3 years ago that everyone was talking about. Spoiler alert. But basically, these men live in this like virtual reality simulation where everything is perfect. They go to work, their wives clean on them, wait for them. You know, like their wives are basically dependent on their men. Like 50s aesthetic, but like the dark side. At the end, you find out that these women never consented to be in this like virtual reality thing. And like when the women start glitching is when the memories of their real life start coming back. And there's this one scene where Chris Pine, the person who orchestrates this whole like utopic town or whatever, he tells Harry Styles to dance for him. And Harry Styles dances for him like a little monkey. That's what I feel like you guys are doing. Whether it's Andrew Tate or these fucking red pill podcast guys, like when they tell you something, when they ask you to jump, you say how high. You're still not a man either way. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you're still a little bitch beta boy doing whatever these fucking men tell you. Why are you mad at us? Why are you mad if me and my husband are cool with each other, if we both make jokes at each other's expense? The difference is my husband will go on stage and say whatever the fuck he wants about me. No one has anything to say. It's like, oh my god, it's so funny, it's so relatable. But then I come on TikTok and I make jokes and now you have a fucking problem? Because I don't have a mic in my hand? Like,
the mic is a big difference, though. The mic is a big difference. I mean, she's essentially right. It kind of is nobody's business, except for the fact that y'all put it out there. Y'all put your relationship dynamics out there. You expressly put your relationship dynamics out there, so now it's become other people's business. But at the end of the day, too, if that's how your relationship is, and that's how the dynamic is, and you guys feel you're happy, really, it's for no one to tell you that you're not. That's true. Whatever. There's 8 billion people. People are going to exist that are different than you, that are different than how you think people ought to be. People are going to represent ideologies and things that are just vastly different to what you think is good in the world. That's fine. I don't love their relationship dynamic. I don't like what they've put out there. But if that's how they want to be, you know, whatever. The thing is, though, it's that I don't think, from my perspective, ultimately does not look at like happy. It doesn't look fun for Akaash to be in that dynamic. And again, I could be wrong, but he does seem frustrated a lot. And it isn't to say that relationships don't have moments of frustration. They all do. It just seems that he's frustrated a lot and then he gets put on blast. And then the big point that she's making at the end is like, yeah, we make fun of each other. It's equal because he does it on the mic. The big difference, and people don't give this enough credit, is he's very funny. So when he's doing it as part of a performance, as part of a theatrical performance on a stage where people bought tickets to go see him. You're popping your pussy online. You're just saying shit, and then the medium matters, right? If you're taking a TikTok camera and going like that, that's different than if you're on a podcast chilling with friends. These are all different mediums. It's just that the way he's expressing himself, it's funnier. So people aren't mad about it when he kind of shits on you. I can't remember the bits that I've seen a couple of his bits that he does where he's like talking shit about her. It's just kind of like relationship trouble. From what I remember, I could stand corrected, but from what I remember, it's just classic like, why are women like this? You know, it's not, I want to fuck her best friend. It's not, I want to have an orgy. It's not the best times in my life or when I was fucking all the bitches before. When you see him talk about those topics, the level of fidelity that he shows to her, it's so high. He does nothing but hold her in esteem and treasure her. And she doesn't extend him the same courtesy when she's talking about him in her jokes. For more big news for the unemployed, subscribe.